Hi, my name's Robert. I'm just an ordinary person. Grew up in a small town, in a family that never had much. Since I was young, my parents always told me one thing. No matter how small it is, always save a part of what you earn. That sentence became my life principle. But as I grew older, I learned that saving isn't always something people understand, especially in a world where spending seems to define success. When I moved to the city for work, everything felt different. Everyone I met seemed to be living fast. New phones, new clothes, new restaurants every weekend. The kind of life that looked shiny. I remember my coworkers laughing when I said I still used the same old phone. They said, "Come on, Aditya, you work hard, treat yourself." But treating myself never meant buying things I didn't need. It meant peace of mind, knowing I could handle tomorrow, whatever it brings. Still, I'd be lying if I said it didn't bother me. Sometimes I wondered if I was missing out. Was I being too careful? Too boring? Everyone else seemed to be having fun while I was counting every coin. Then came the real test. After a few years, life started to hit harder. My friends seemed to be moving ahead, buying cars, traveling abroad, posting pictures of expensive dinners. Meanwhile, I was still living in a rented apartment, saving every paycheck, saying no to things I couldn't afford. One night, I sat alone in my tiny room, scrolling through my phone, watching everyone's highlight reels, and I started to feel small. Maybe they're right, I thought. Maybe I'm being foolish. Maybe I'm just scared to live. It's funny how comparison works, how it makes you forget your own path. For a moment, I doubted everything I believed in. Then, suddenly, life reminded me why I made the choices I did. A year later, the company I worked for went through a massive layoff. Dozens of people lost their jobs, including some of my closest friends. I still remember the panic in their eyes. The rent, the bills, the loans, everything came crashing down at once. They weren't bad people, they just never thought this day would come. And while everyone scrambled to figure out how to survive, I quietly opened my small notebook, the one where I'd written every amount I saved for the past 5 years. It wasn't much, but it was enough to keep me safe. Enough to give me peace when everyone else was drowning in worry. That night, for the first time in a long while, I smiled, not because I was lucky, but because I was prepared. I used my savings to survive those months, not just to pay the bills, but to breathe, to rest, to think clearly. I didn't have to panic. And when a new opportunity came, I was ready to take it, without fear, without debt. It was then that I truly understood what saving meant. It wasn't about depriving myself, it was about protecting my future self. Saving didn't make me poor, it made me free. Free to say no to jobs that didn't align with me. Free to take a break when I needed it. Free to live on my own terms. Now, a few years later, I live a life that's still simple, but peaceful. No debts, no fear of tomorrow. I've learned that true wealth isn't about showing off what you have, but quietly knowing you'll be okay no matter what happens. People still tease me sometimes for being too careful, but I just smile, because I know discipline is never foolish. It's just misunderstood. Every time I open my savings book, I don't just see numbers. I see every choice I made, every sacrifice, every dream I protected from uncertainty. If you're listening to this and you've ever felt silly for being the careful one, the one who saves instead of spends, remember this: You're not behind. You're building quietly. There's strength in patience and peace in preparation. Because one day, when life tests you, you'll realize security is the greatest luxury there is. Everyone said I was foolish for saving, but now I'm grateful I was. Because sometimes being wise just means believing in yourself before anyone else does. I'm Robert, and this was my story, how being foolish made me free.